sigh of relief right there. If you caught him on camera, he's like, I will take that victory. I'm looking for an emote that expresses that. Is it that one? No, that's an OMG one. Is it this one? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. He's just feeling better about the position. I don't know. That was a big Either way, Wesley So. Oh, sorry. I got.
No.
Don't. I can't get rid of unclicking it. Whoa. Okay. We're okay, everybody.
No comment. I can't do all that newfangled emote stuff, Danny. I'll leave that to the younger generation.
You know, the younger generation, because you're so old.
Yep.
All right. Well, Wesley So does win, and it is a 3-game lead currently for Magnus Carlsen. Back to what's this? This is another Roy Lopez, but a Berlin move order, a little different than what we've seen before.
That was the conditions when, the passport control officer was stamping Wesley's passport. He's like, okay, I'm letting you in the country as long as you play the Berlin at least once against Magnus Carlsen in your SEC match. And he did, and Magnus going for the anti-Berlin with D3, but I don't think he's gotten much here unless he pushes F4. That might be his only chance to spice things up on the king side. Otherwise, it's just dead equal.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he does F4.
But it's easy to blunder. Danny, EF4, Rook F4 would be a very instructive blunder. Maybe we can show that. Because if Bishop takes B3 and Knight D5. Okay, Wesley taking a different approach. So we don't have to. But
I'm gonna quickly show it when we have a second here. The idea Danya pointed out is hard to see sometimes when there's smoke. You can't kind of see through it. But if E takes F4, Rook takes F4, Black can trade, and no matter how you take back on B3, there is a Knight fork heard round the world on D5, and we have material.
Beautiful.
So, there you go. This was not to be blundered by Magnus. Instead, we're headed toward an endgame.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a nice find, Danya.
Yeah, and I actually think Wesley should have taken on F4 because now he's got another endgame in the category of the person you want this endgame against the least is Magnus Carlsen, and the person you're facing right now is Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, these are the kind of games that lead to the Magnus measurement stick-o-meter. I think I'm going to say it differently every time, but when we see that game arc, the Magnus measurement stick-o-meter, he tends to follow a very consistent path. He keeps his games equal, not a lot of crazy up and down in the opening and especially early middle game stages, but he grinds you out. And this is the kind of game that Magnus wins a lot of.
And Black is worse. Why? For two main reasons. The first is the B6 pawn. Long-term target, that was the reason Magnus played A4, to fix that pawn, because it's harder to shoot at a moving target, right? If that pawn landed on B5, it would have been a better defendant. Now, second reason, superior activity of White's knight. Knight C4, and the knight is aiming at the B6 pawn, and that is precisely why Wesley plays knight E8. He's trying to get his own knight to D6, so a trade of knights here, I think, would help Black reduce White's advantage to a minimum. Rook A6 here, very important. And B4 is tempting, but I think Wesley's in time to get his knight to D6 and kick its vis-a-vis out of its dream square.
Yeah, if you're White, you wish you had time to do other things to target the pawn, but that's just not a reality with the knights being traded, in addition to the fact that the A4 pawn's weak. So B4 makes... Go ahead.
No, I was going to propose A5, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to propose A5. Like, I'm not kidding.
I was going to propose A5.
I was going to propose A5. Okay. No, but I really was going to propose it because it was, even though you let Black trade the weakness, everyone, the whole idea was that if there's a trade, you end up exposing a different issue, which is that maybe Black's pieces are all kind of oddly coordinated with the rooks of the 6th rank. So Magnus doesn't go for that. But A5 might have actually been a really nice idea. Now he has to ask the question, how do I keep the knights on the board, or am I allowing the rook ending?
And White's position, I think, is still a little bit preferable after the knight trade, but Wesley shouldn't have problems holding the draw. He can also play F6, building up that nice kingside pawn chain and opening up a pathway, completing each other's sandwiches again. King goes up to E6, and I just don't see the kind of action on the queen side that would cause Wesley to shake in his boots.
Agreed, Tim. Population us.
I don't think he's wearing boots in a hotel room, but anyway, you get the point.
Not wearing, I do get it. Yeah, Magnus taking his time here, down a little bit on the clock. but he knows that it's kind of now or never in this particular game. So good time management to really slow down before you either make the critical exchange or decide there's enough chances to justify avoiding it. Lessons for the kids watching. Don't speed through trades. Take your time on trades, big time.
And Magnus could drop back to e3. I think he's contemplating that move, but he also could end up being worse because the a4 pawn is targetable by black's other rook, rook e8, rook a8. And guess what? Now it's white who's suffering on the queen side. And we saw Wesley lose a game, completely different type of game. Remember that game where Wesley played g4 and he was attacking and it was all great. And then suddenly, when you're pushing your pawns, you're creating targets. And if your opponent kind of repels the initial wave of attack, as Wesley has here, you have to make sure that you're managing effectively the weaknesses that you left behind. And I think Magnus going for the bailout approach here, rook a5 is a super nice move by Wesley, not giving up the a file.
Wow. What a very nice move. If you take, you fix my pawns, I can easily then defend them. If you don't take, then not only am I threatening the b pawn, but I own the file. So it's actually a phenomenal defensive approach there from Wesley that is now more of an aggressive one. He saw this coming. He's up a minute plus here on the clock. I'm just saying, you know, stranger things have happened than the revitalization of Winona Ryder's career in a Netflix TV show you didn't see coming. Stranger things have happened. Maybe Wesley So gets the dub.
Okay, I just got that. Took me
Did you
a while.
did you know that I said the word revitalization? Can someone, is that a word?
It's definitely a word.
No.
Everything's a word,
Okay.
Danny. Everything.
Okay. Revitalization, the action of imbuing something with new life and vitality. Not only did I use it correctly, it was the right thing to say that happened to Winona Ryder's career because of Netflix.
I love it when you look up a word. It's like a Ferrero Rocher candy, and then there's that hazelnut in the middle. There's another SAT word that's waiting for you in the definition, imbued. That's a good one as well. Magnus has imbued his pawn structure with a sense of, I have no idea where I'm taking this. What I meant to say is he's defending all of his pawns. And I think we're heading in the direction of a draw here, but not for sure, because maybe g5 happens and the king side opens and things get tactical. So I wouldn't hang my hat on the result being a draw. Rook takes c4, by the way, easy thing to miss.
That's actually really key. It's the weird way to use a rook pin emote. Rook is pinning a pawn. Or is that a skewer? I don't even know. But I know it's off the board now because we have g5. There is a threat of taking c4. Hold on.
But okay, but black has no time because g takes f6, and okay, black could get checkmated on king's side. So I would take once on g5 and actually make sure that my king side pawn structure is well protected with king f7, but then white takes in rook f2, Danny. It's
actually crazy. Can we bring up the analysis board? Because Danya just kind of let it slip that there might be a checkmate, but we should actually show that. Like if you take on c4 and there's some sort of take, shake and bake, this rook is coming to g2 and you're getting mated on the edge of the board in shockingly quick fashion. So that was actually really important to keep an eye on there. I just wanted to show that.
No, absolutely. 2 rooks are more than enough material to generate a mating attack.
Yeah.
And Magnus poking and prodding on the king side. He's definitely playing this for a win, but king e6 and rook d7, I mean, realistically, with 90 seconds, this should not be too difficult for Wesley to hold.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, but time pressure does strange things to a man. And right now, if both sides get in a mutual scramble, it's anyone's game. Rook a7 is not a happy move to play, but it was maybe the only thing to do.
I would have gone rook d7, but I think Wesley actually is afraid to trade a pair of rooks because he believes that in the ensuing position, with all of white's pawns protected, maybe he'll have some trouble defending his own weaknesses on b6 and f6, but I don't think he's got anything to be concerned about, even in this position with that passive rook. Rook a3 now.
Well, this was a nice move, too, because you can come back to a3 anytime, and if white tries to get too jiggy over here and maybe checkmate the black king, you get mated yourself. So I agree with you. The more I look at this, I think a draw has to be the most likely result. They're going to continue to play tickle for a little while here. But huge weakness for white. Equally big weak pawns for black means that both players are a dull boy, right? All work and no play.
Yeah.
Makes Jack a dull boy. Tell me you got that one.
I did not. I laughed, but I didn't. I'm laughing almost at my own inability to grasp these references.
No, you're great. That's That's a good one though. All right, rook e8. The king is now coming to c5, which by the way is fun because you get your king out of trouble and maybe guard b6. But the problem is if you go too far, then you got other problems. So yeah, this is just we're just playing footsie here.
Don't want to turn into Icarus here and come fly too close to the queen side because okay, but Wesley's playing for a win. I think he's feeling lucky after that last game. No, he's not. He's like,
no, he's
am
not.
I playing for a win? No, I'm not.
I love how you were trying to set the tone. Wesley's playing for a win. It had to be rook d6 if he really was. But no, he might lose it, as you said. Icarus flies a little too close to the sun. You regret it. So let's stay away from that. He decides to tuck his tail between his legs and settle on the draw. And
no, I've read The Shining. People in the chat say I haven't seen The Shining, but I have read the book.